Derrick's Daring Do. Not everyone on the other railway is a rude, aggressive moron. Take Derrick, for example, the latest engine to join the railway. He is long and green, and you'd be hard-pressed to find a more enthusiastic worker. His only problem is having the most unreliable cooling system ever built by man. But the thin git could overlook that. After all, he was an ex-Sodor engine and dirt cheap. What more could a controller want? This story dates back to Derrick's arrival on the other railway. He had passed most of his initiation trials, including getting his buffers paddled by the workmen, and was one task away from being accepted. All he had to do was to take a train of railway enthusiasts from the big fat station to the Smelters and back, but he found it hard to move the heavy coaches. "Did you see him straining?" said Bowler. "It's like Driver every time he brings a curry to work."
"Positively painful,"
remarked old Stuck-Up.
"Entertaining, but painful."
"Just pathetic," grunted Spancan. "He should just give up and piss off to York or something to be preserved before he explodes." "Shut up," burst out Diesel. "You know this won't bother him. Derrick's more sickeningly cheerful than any of us."
"You're right, Diesel,"
said the thin git.
"Derrick's a bit problematic, but he'll surprise us all. His job depends on it."
"I've done it, we're off! I've done it, we're off!" said Derrick, as he finally rolled out of the station with a mighty growl. He stopped in a cloud of black smoke at the first signal. "I'll get the breakdown coach," grumbled Diesel. One repair and several stalls later, Derrick made it to the Smelters. The shunting Diesels there were disgruntled to see the visitors. They hated being photographed. Later, they were to take the party around the industrial complex in a brake van special, but the engines dumped the vans into the smelting vats before anyone could get in. The visitors were most furious and couldn't wait until Derrick came to take them home. On the way, the weather changed. Wind, rain, hail, and the odd piece of metal buffeted Derrick. His sanding gear failed, and his driver had to throw a sand bucket on the rails from his cab by hand. Unfortunately, most of it flew right in Derrick's face, so it wasn't much use. Suddenly, Derrick's wheels slipped fiercely. With a metallic bang, something broke. His driver tried to stop the train before realizing it already had. The crew inspected the damage. Repairs took some time, as they'd been down the pub a few times before the return journey. "Your cooling system's completely knackered this time, Derrick," said his driver. "We've deactivated the system. You can still just about run, but now there's nothing to stop you burning up. Can you get these people home? They'll probably lynch us if we're here any longer." "I'll try, sir," promised Derrick. Derrick roared and pulled his hardest, but his wheels kept slipping and his engine kept heating up something fierce. He couldn't start the heavy train. The passengers were anxious, more so when they realized Derrick was actually trying to get them home. Eventually, driver and guard went along the train, making adjustments between the coaches. "We've loosened the couplings, Derrick," explained the driver. "Now you can pick up your coaches one by one, just as you do with trucks." "What? But you've never done that with my trucks," observed Derrick. "Hey, if you've got any better ideas," replied the driver, "I'd sure like to hear them." Right, said Derrick. "Come on," he growled, and moved cautiously forward. I'm doing it, panted the Diesel. "Steady, boy," warned his driver. "Well done, boy. You've got them. You've not got them." He slammed on the brakes. "Damn it, Clive. I said to loosen the couplings, not to take them all off. God!" With a roll of his eyes, Derrick backed down and started again a few minutes later. The first coach moving helped to start the second. The second helped the third, yada yada yada, you get the idea. I've done it, wheezed Derrick. "Now you've got them, boy. called the driver. "Well done." He listened happily to Derrick's steady rumbling as he inched slowly but surely ahead in a cloud of black smoke. At last, battered, weary, and boiling hot, but unbeaten, Derrick trundled into the big fat station. Bowler was waiting for the visitors with the mainline train, and by waiting, I mean he was fast asleep and drooling over the sleepers. Toot toot! Derrick came to a stop and stood smoking at one of the platforms. The thin git angrily pointed to the clock, but excited passengers were so pleased that Derrick actually tried to help them, they cheered and thanked him and his driver. Not Clive the guard, though, the ninny. The thin git saw the potential in having at least one half-likeable engine on board, and saw to it that Derrick was made a full member of the other railway fleet. The rest of the engines remained moodily silent for a long while after.